Story 1, Ugly. I am mean and manipulative and 100% the most self-centered person on the planet. I am a complete disgrace. That is why I have been sober for 31 years, to save humanity from me. Story 2. I am completely sober, attend Alcoholics Anonymous, and work the Alcoholics Anonymous program daily to ensure I do not revert to the old habits that were trying to destroy my life. Story 3. Apparently, I get very emotional and tell my friends how much I love them while also playfully punching them. Story 4, Moderate. If I have 2 glasses of wine, it is a lot, and I am probably looking for a place to lie down and sleep. Story 5, 'Twas an angry one. 3.5 years sober. Best decision of my life. My goal is my children never see me drunk. Story 6, I am an alcoholic. I can drink 2 bottles of wine in one evening, and an outside observer would never be able to tell. Story 7. Somewhere between an introspective philosopher and a sleepy golden retriever. Affectionate, slow-talking, and prone to long tangents about ethics or pine trees. Story 8. Violent. I stopped drinking at 21, having started at 14. I will be 60 this year. I did not like what I became. Story 9. I am the same person, only happier, which is a good sign. More than a few abuse their spouses, but only when they are drunk. Otherwise, they are just the sweetest person ever. Story 10. A dry drunk, apparently. The prescription bottles all say, do not consume alcohol while taking this medication. They are medications I will be taking for a long time. Story 11. I don't drink much anymore. For years I was the life of the party, relaxed, funny, and socially confident, unlike when I was sober. Then it wasn't fun anymore. Story 12. Sleepy, peaceful, a little melancholy. I do not understand people who get drunk at parties. When I am drunk, I want to listen to music alone and fall asleep. Story 13, Angry. Not violent towards others or anything. I find myself isolating from everyone and sitting there thinking about things that make me so angry I want to punch walls. Because of this, I aim to stick to just light drinking and avoid being intoxicated. Story 14. I am the person who thinks he is being funny when, in reality, he is just being unpleasant. As such, I have a self-imposed limit of 1 beer per week or less. Story 15. Messy drunk for sure. I'm on medication, and even though I used to drink for fun and could physically handle it, now I get sick after 1 beer. The main reason I quit drinking is my drunk behavior. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, so even when sober, I tend to talk a lot and sometimes overshare. When I used to get really drunk, I embarrassed myself often and also got with way too many men that I didn't actually like. The anxiety the next day is insane as well. Story 16. Depends on what alcohol I am drinking, to be honest. Vodka will have me fighting everyone and vomiting, possibly at the same time. Tequila makes me happy until you rub me the wrong way. Whiskey usually has me just relaxing. Rum and red wine create happy, drunk vibes. White wine is like water. Story 17. One person quit drinking 3 years ago. Not in Alcoholics Anonymous, but it was a toxic relationship, and the only person who liked drunk me was drunk me. Never got violent or drove under the influence, but I would wander off and be hard to find, or my impulses would win, and I would jump off my house and break both my ankles at the same time. Normal drunk behavior. Story 18. Very sleepy. I tend to get a carefree attitude and say whatever I have been holding back. But when I am lively, I enjoy getting intoxicated with my friends occasionally. Story 19. I always thought I was a funny drunk, but it turns out that sometimes I am an obnoxious, rude, and inappropriate drunk. Story 20. Don't drink anymore, but when I did, I was a very happy, chatty drunk. When sober, I was painfully shy and self-conscious. Story 21. I get very silly and laugh at everything. It was very relieving the first time I got drunk, given that my dad got angry when he drank. He is not dead, just has not had a drop in over a decade. Story 22. Wanting to make out with everybody and getting violently ill for days afterward. That is why we smoke marijuana, folks. Story 23. I do not know. I have never been, and I am not curious to find out. My family has a history of alcohol abuse, and I do not want to be any of them. I will sip a drink at a party, and that is as far as I go. Story 24. Happy and carefree. All of my anxiety disappears. Unless I get blackout drunk, which has only happened a couple of times, then I become a vomiting, crying mess. Oops. Story 25. I am a fun, loving person who enjoys having a great time and is the life of the party that everyone gets along with. Story 26. I talk and laugh a little louder than normal, but besides that, everybody says they do not even notice when I am drunk. Story 27. Never know what you will get. Sometimes overly complimentary, sometimes extremely jealous and mean, sometimes just fun and silly. Story 28. I have slept in the parking lots of parks, and I have slept in the actual parks. I am a former journalist and write about it. Story 29. I become outgoing, smiley, and happy, and I have to make sure the people I love know that I love them. Do not let me get past that, though, because then I black out and do not remember the rest of the night. Luckily, I have grown up quite a bit and have not experienced blackout mode since maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Even in the years before that, it would happen very rarely, like maybe once or twice a year. Story 30. In college, I would get very intoxicated, then leave the party early after checking on my friends. I would hide behind cards and jump out to scare them when they started walking home. I would also call people to tell them what great friends they are and how kind and nice they are before hugging them. Then, I would leave the party early to go run around on the beach. In high school, I was at a party for my advanced chemical research class. We had obtained some beakers and graduated cylinders to use as shot glasses after our big end-of-the-year projects. I got intoxicated, threw up in the sink, and woke up to a kind girl I barely knew helping me take off my vomit-soaked clothes, shower, and wash myself. So, I guess what I'm saying is whatever type of drink I had worked out. I never got into any fights or broke things. I did once get half out of bed, take my pants off, urinate on the floor, and then fall back asleep next to the kids with my pants half off. My dorm mates got several good pictures of that and gave me a hard time while I cleaned the carpets the next morning. I haven't had a drink since around COVID-19, and I don't drink by myself. Who knows if I'd still act the same now? I have no friends to drink with anymore, so who knows? Story 31. Super fun for about an hour, but if I keep drinking alcohol, I get sick very quickly. I can get drunk, but then I have to stop drinking or only drink beer very slowly. I do not know what it is, but the room starts spinning very fast. Story 32. I can't remember anything, blackout drunk, but due to the medications I am on, if I drank alcohol now, I would probably die. Either way, I avoid it as much as I can. Luckily, I am not addicted to alcohol or predisposed to alcoholism. The only alcohol I will miss not drinking is rum, as that is the only drink I actually like the taste of. Story 33. Let's keep drinking, then a switch flips, and I lay down and immediately start snoring. For me, it is all about the drinks. I do not drink often, maybe 5 to 8 times a year depending, but when I drink, I do not stop until I fall asleep around 2 to 3 a.m., and it ruins me for the next 2 days. Story 34. I always find myself in debates when I am intoxicated. I am one of those people. It is usually political, though. Other than that, I am usually trying to solve something. Story 35. Functional drink in case there is an emergency. I do get chatty, overcaring, brave but not fearless. Story 36. Everyone here should really have their friends write these responses for them. I don't believe any of them. Story 37. Happy, friendly, outgoing. I smile more, open to conversation, fun and adventurous. So, the opposite of sober me. Story 38. To be honest, I have never drunk alcohol before, but if I were, let's just say I would be a bit of a passionate person or something less than that. Story 39. A happy, horny drunk. Unless I am drinking wine, then I tend to get emotional and usually have tears at some point. Happy or sad, you will never know. Story 40. I used to do reckless things like climbing light poles, jumping off rolling chairs, and running away from my friends for no reason. These were harmless to others but risky for me. Now I get drunk and become very talkative, talking to anyone who will listen. Then I pass out. I no longer have the energy to do reckless things, which is a good thing. Story 41. Sloppy, slurry, clumsy, spacey. I kind of sit back and take in the conversations around me until someone asks me a question. Then I go on a long ramble that makes no sense. I get kind of clingy or touchy with my partner. I experience massive food cravings, followed by nausea toward the end of the night. I don't like how I feel or act when I drink, so I limit it to 1 or 2 times a month, if at all. I have a very low tolerance for alcohol. Instead, I smoke when I want to be social with friends who are drinking. Story 42. Cheap date. 1 drink, happy. 2 drinks, very friendly. 3 drinks, time to go night-night. This is why I never have more than 1 drink in public. Story 43. Trying out my best material, which apparently is too offensive, or so my brain tells me the next morning during severe anxiety. Story 44. So, have you heard that the father of Ghislaine Maxwell was an agent of the Israeli intelligence agency? It is really strange that Jeffrey Epstein received multimillion-dollar homes. Do you think Emmanuel Macron's wife is actually a woman? The world is a stage, and everything is not genuine. Story 45. Just past buzzed best darts, pool and bags player you've ever met. Moderately drunk, come up with ideas that sound great and never follow through. Very drunk, straight to bed. Literally nothing can stop me. Hungover, extremely affectionate. Story 46. I am a talkative drunk who gladly shares every embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me, combined with remembering everything I said and did in excruciating detail the next day. Story 47. Somewhere between philosophical, funny, depressing, friendly, unfriendly, hardcore capitalist, hardcore communist, economic expert, political expert, musician, dancer, gigolo, lawyer, psychiatrist, entrepreneur, and Gordon Ramsay. Story 48. Endlessly putting money into the jukebox to hear more metal, then texting friends to tell them that I love them, but that I love them even more when I am drinking Guinness and listening to Electric Wizard. Story 49. I will fall asleep before being intoxicated. I am a small person and my liver is sensitive. I stopped drinking completely years ago and I do not miss falling asleep in bars. Story 50. I lose a lot of intelligence points and become really silly, like laughing gas silly. It is not as cute as it sounds. I do not like the way I am when I am drunk. I can take or leave alcohol, really. I usually leave it. Story 51. I get very cheerful and chatty when I drink. With a bit more alcohol, I suddenly become an expert in everything. One time, I had a full 10-minute conversation with my friend about airplane engines. I know absolutely nothing about them, but that did not stop me. Then I get deep and philosophical. If I seriously overdo it, which is rare, I might even get a little sad. But that almost never happens. Mostly I am just fun and talkative. Story 52. For the most part, I am a reminiscent drunk unless tequila is involved. Tequila makes me incredibly affectionate. Unfortunately, after doing a few too many Four Horsemen shots, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Jameson, and Jose Cuervo, I can barely stand the smell of tequila. One of my friends loved mixing drinks with it and was a master at completely hiding the taste and smell. Story 53. I know drunk me. That guy is rowdy. Don't flash your chest at him either. He has Down syndrome and will absolutely lose his mind. Story 54. Pretty much the same, just make some questionable choices and speak my mind more. It dulls my trauma so I am able to be more comfortable being social and to trust easier, but people have told me they cannot tell the difference unless I am absolutely intoxicated, which is concerning. Story 55. Happy at first, then sad by the 9th drink, which inevitably leads to telling war stories nobody wants to hear. I usually leave as soon as I feel a hint of sadness to avoid this. Story 56. Like the dial is turned up on whatever pre-drunk vibe was. Annoyed becomes very annoyed. Happy becomes very happy. Feisty becomes very feisty. Story 57. When I first started drinking, I was a happy drunk. As the years went on, the effects wore off, so I was either completely sober or throwing up, no in between. That is why I have not drunk since November 2019. Story 58. I either want to relax and enjoy music and games, especially when under the influence, or feel intensely aroused, especially when under the influence. Story 59. I am friends with everyone who crosses my path, probably too talkative and a little annoying, but hey, a funny, dancing, happy, drunk girl who is not a mess, not falling, getting angry or crying. Story 60. Depressed and intoxicated. I do not drink anymore for that reason. Normally, I am really good at hiding how sad I am all the time. When I drink too much, it comes out. Story 61. For me, it very much depends on circumstances. For some time, my default was a much more confident Chandler Bing. Story 62. Happy. I don't want to do anything drunk, unless I'm already drinking outside. If I'm at home, I am not going anywhere. Story 63. I have not been intoxicated since January 17th, 1992. However, when I consumed alcohol, I had a strong desire for romantic or sexual activity. I still have that desire, but I do not consume alcohol. Story 64. I've been told by many people that I am significantly more fun even at moderate levels of intoxication. I am a bit uptight when I am sober. Once I reach high levels of intoxication, I will accept any challenge, flirt with every girl within a 5-mile radius, and eventually crash out crying about how Sam had to live his life without Dean and how it was just so unfair. Story 65. I am the Whitney Houston of intoxicated individuals. When you spin the wheel frequently, you tend to land on a greater variety of outcomes. Story 66. First half of the night. Happy, affectionate, loves everyone and everything. Second half of the night. Spiraling pit of depression when my love for everyone becomes overbearing, and I think everyone hates me. Story 67. Tired, sleepy, and already feeling sick. I used to drink in the past, but now I just hate it honestly. It doesn't taste good anymore, and it doesn't feel good either. I know I am tired, sore, and exhausted from the gym, but normally if I smoke cannabis I can ignore it. Alcohol, however, removes the ability to ignore it, so I just want to go to sleep. Now, I feel like I am getting nauseated even when I get slightly intoxicated, and I avoid overdoing it like the plague. Story 68. I was always an extremely happy, bubbly person who enjoyed good times dancing while intoxicated. However, I quit drinking last summer, so now I am not intoxicated at all. Story 69. I cannot reach that level of intoxication anymore. Just a couple of drinks and I get sleepy and want to be in my bed. Sorry, I am not more exciting. Story 70. Happy and laughing. Then I somehow cooked dinner. Last night, it was roasted red potatoes and blackened tuna steak sandwiches on onion rolls. I even did the dishes afterward. Story 71. Depends on my headspace, but 90% super happy and laughing loudly, 8% crying and having a complete emotional breakdown, 2% angry. Story 72. I used to be the social joker and hold my beer while watching this guy. Then my best friend and drinking buddy died by suicide, and now I risk becoming that blubbering person, so I quit. Story 73. Weirdly enough, I get really mellowed out. You can find me in a corner chair, legs crossed, beer in hand, just people watching. You talk to me, I'll talk back, but I like chilling when I'm on one. I'll also occasionally experience erectile dysfunction and disappoint a lady I'm seeing later that night. Story 74. Very active. We played a drinking game once, and as a penalty, you did a certain number of push-ups. I did push-ups with everyone. We estimated that in about 3 hours, I did roughly 200 push-ups and tried to run to a store that was 1.5 miles away. Story 75. Happy. I want to be everyone's friend. But then I keep drinking, and I apparently get kind of mean. I don't drink anymore, but it was fun while it lasted. Story 76. Social at first, then I eat too many taquitos, and then I fall asleep in a random comfortable location in my house. Story 77. The ultimate dancing champion. Last time, I ended up with a groin sprain from doing dance moves while walking down some stairs to the dance floor. Not good for a middle-aged woman. Took about 4 weeks to heal. Good night, though. Story 78. I have a friend who was fun and genuinely hilarious, like stand-up comedy funny, until his blood alcohol content crossed some threshold and he became the meanest drunk you have ever seen. It was like a switch getting flipped, and the rest of us would be bewildered, keeping in mind we were also very drunk. He has been sober for 20 years now. Story 79. According to my brother, even when I am extremely intoxicated, I remember to mute my phone before I vomit. Story 80. I like to get tipsy, but I am a slow drinker and I reach my physical limit quickly, so I never have that many drinks type. Story 81. I am fun and social until I realize I have drunk too much, and then I assume the only thing that will correct that is drinking more. Story 82. Being slightly buzzed makes me happier and funnier, but being intoxicated just makes me sleepy. I never really enjoyed getting intoxicated because of this. Instead of wanting to party, I just want to sleep. Story 83. I am a fun drunk, honest in a good way, very loving but not crazy or annoying. I like my drunk self but stopped drinking 3 months ago after realizing many things. Story 84. I usually sit quietly and watch what is going on, but sometimes I say, let's grill some food. And oops, I cut myself badly while chopping meat. Story 85. I get very social. Also, I tend to want to smoke a little crack with it. Needless to say, I do not drink anymore. 8 going on 9 months sober. Story 86. I am a sad person who vomits and has accidents. It is bad, really bad. I decided to stop and have not consumed excessive alcohol in about 10 years. Story 87. I don't ever shut up when I'm drunk is the thing I hear the most. I was at a family party last Saturday where I got unbelievably intoxicated. After the party, my mom and sister told me that I'm a lovable drunk because I start telling everyone how much I love them. From my mom and sister to my cousin's 5-month-old baby to another cousin's dog. Story 88. Fun fact. Gandalf and the Balrog are basically the same. During the creation of EA by Eru Iluvatar, Morgoth, also called Melkor, corrupted several Maiar, including the Astari, which is the original title given to the 5 wizards. By the way, there are also 2 blue wizards who are never seen in any media. These corrupted Maiar became Balrogs. So Gandalf fighting the Balrog is basically 2 angels fighting. Story 89. The type that loses his job, has his car repossessed, and must live with his parents because he is broke and unemployable. Story 90. Happy, hugging, laughing. Late in the night, it changes into, the people will be free. The revolution starts now. Story 91. I am happy and do not like intoxicated sex. Because I am a happy drunk, I end up feeling extra sad for the next few days. I use up all my happy hormones. Therefore, I do not drink at all. Story 92. I haven't been drunk in ages. I mostly just get tipsy these days. I have always been a happy and sentimental drunk. Except for hard liquor. Then it is just crazy party time. So I do not drink hard liquor. Story 93. I have touched 1 breast too many that was not on the list of 2 breasts I was allowed to touch. Therefore, I do not get drunk anymore. Story 94. I get all fuzzy and giggly. Being drunk is the only time my head shuts up enough for me to not be overly crippled by anxiety and depression. Story 95. I just want to relax, play games when I am drunk, and then sleep. If I am drunk, that may not take long. Story 96. Me with most alcohol, charismatic, funny, witty, charming. Me with tequila. I would like 2 large orders of sex with everything on it. Actually, make it 4. Story 97. I used to be fun, passionate, and happy, but now that I am in my 30s, I seem to get sad more often. I cry almost every time, and it is not enjoyable for anyone involved. I am working on quitting now. Story 98. A very sober one. As long as I have eaten enough food that day, alcohol does not have a huge impact. It just relaxes me a bit. Story 99. Depends on what I drink. Beer makes me kind of goofy and spacey. Gin and tonics make me happy, and scotch makes me angry. Water makes me sober, and I have been drinking that since 1986. I guess you could say I am a grateful recovering person. Story 100. I am an, oh, I did not even know you were intoxicated. Intoxicated person. I guess I contain it very well, and it takes a lot of alcohol to take away my lucidity. Story 101. I like to nap after 2 or 3 beers. If I push to the fourth, I am chatty. If I am gaming, I push head-on into enemy teams. If it is Rocket League, I am going to ball chase and demolish. Story 102. People tell me they notice me as sober, not drunk at all, while at the same time I tend to have blackouts frequently. Story 103. Usually happy and talkative, then eventually sleepy unless I have tequila. In that case, it is best not to upset me. I cannot drink tequila anymore, so everyone is safe. Story 104. I am very paranoid when drunk. You can never do anything to me. Once I am drunk, I trust no one, not even my own mother. Story 105. I don't drink anymore, but when I did, I was the person going around making sure everyone was okay and asking if they needed anything. I can still clearly remember doing that the first time I got drunk at a house party in high school. I wonder if it comes from wanting to be liked and socially accepted. Story 106. Overly affectionate and loving. I do not know why I am that way, but when I have a couple of beers, I become overly affectionate with anyone, whether they are close friends or total strangers. I am also the kind of drunk who thinks he can dance, but I cannot. I really cannot. I do not think I can be trusted with alcohol and music. Story 107. I am usually funny. Recently, I learned that I am still smart when I am passed out drunk. I need to stress that I do not get that way often. Actually, I have only been that way once recently. I would wake up long enough to answer trivia questions correctly, then pass back out. Story 108. I am intoxicated and affectionate, but my husband becomes extremely intoxicated. He cries, runs away, becomes sassy, and gossips to anyone. Story 109. I have only drank once. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and I take medication, so I am not drunk with only 1 beer. There is only 1 beer left. Story 110. I used to be a very cheerful and silly boy. Then I became the sports drinking fraternity type, playing beer pong and so on. Years later, I became a bitter and sharp-tongued drunk. Now I don't drink. Things are better now. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.